Kia ora koutou, ko Douglas Walker, tōko ingoa.
Ko JD Vijay toko ingoa.
We're both members of NZASE, the New Zealand Association of Science Educators. And in this video, we're going to run through a whole lot of sound experiments and demonstrations. The idea behind these is that they're all practical, fun, hands-on activities that allow any classroom with very low demand for resources, ways of exploring the science and physics of sound. So we'll start off with sound as a vibration.
Yeah. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a simple experiment. All we need is a plastic beaker, we need some clink clink, and a rubber band. And then once that's safely secured on top, all we need to do is add some salt and pepper on the top, and then we have some fun just by clapping near the surface. By clapping near the surface, we're actually generating vibrations, and we can actually visually see what that looks like on the surface of the beaker, which is an awesome way to show akonga the concept of sound as a vibration. With that, let's have a look at our next experiment, and I'm going to pass it back to Doug.
Thank you, Jay. So we've got a tuning fork. Now, not everywhere is going to have access to these, but you can buy them online relatively cheaply. And so with these, each tuning fork is designed to give a certain frequency or pitch or tone of sound. And a neat little trick with this, just to demonstrate that idea of sound as a vibration again, is to take an ice cream tub with some water in it and that sprays the water out, and so it's a really visual representation of those vibrations again. Another neat trick that you can do with a tuning fork is to, once you've tapped it, you place it against a surface like a table or a wall, and what that does is it transfers the vibration into that larger object, and then the rest of that larger object is going to vibrate as well, and that's going to change the sound that has been produced. So okay, so some more vibration related activities.
Yeah. So for our next experiment, it's relatively simple. All you need is 2 little nuts and 2 balloons. What we're going to do is we're going to put the nuts through the mouth of the balloon, and we're going to blow them up to roughly the same size. Once we've done that, we're just going to label our balloons so that we know which one has the small nut and which one has the large nut, and then we're going to go ahead and generate some sounds.
So just spinning the balloon. It takes a little bit of a knack just to get the right motion.
Well, this one is a little small.
You got that way quicker than I did. Well done. When you finish the experiment, you probably want to reclaim the nuts from the balloons so you can use them again. And we found something else, didn't we?
Yeah, so one of the issues that we ran into when we were trialing this experiment is we put the nuts in, we blew up a balloon, and as soon as I picked up the balloon, they would explode. And so the big thing there is to ensure that the nut really has a smooth surface, because if there are any protrusions on the nut or even like micro protrusions, what could happen is it could actually pop your balloon, and you won't have as much fun.
All right, and then we're on to glass bottles. So any sound that we're producing here is normally producing is produced by a standing wave, and a glass bottle with some liquid in it, in this case just water, blow over the top, and you'll produce a sound that is determined. The pitch of the sound is determined by the column of air that is in the bottle. So we can demonstrate that. Pour out a bit of the water. And again, using Firefox, you could get the numbers to show you the frequency of sound that's being produced, or a graph showing you the sound wave, a representation of the sound wave as well. Do you want to introduce these ones for us, Jay?
Yeah. So our next listening activity is a Maori musical instrument, the pūrerehua. And today we're gonna have a little fun. I've got a plastic ruler that's attached to a piece of string, and Doug has a nice metallic ruler that's attached to a piece of string, and we're just gonna compare the sounds that it generates. Something to be aware of when carrying out this experiment is to ensure that we have nice open spaces when we're swinging these things, because they can be projectiles if we're not careful, but also to ensure that if we're giving it to our honga, that we're using nice plastic rulers so that they're nice and safe throughout the experiment. Cool, with that we're just going to demo it. So Doug's going to go ahead. There's some interesting sound differences going on there.
And again, that's vibrations that are creating the sound waves for us there. Awesome. So what's next? I think we're on to DIY harmonicas.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need 2 lollipop sticks, bit of paper about the same length as the lollipop sticks and probably no wider than the lollipop sticks. You're going to place a piece of broken match on either end. I'd start with them quite far apart, and then you could adjust the distance that they are from each other and experiment with that. And then you're going to place your second lollipop stick on top, sandwich them together with your fingers, and then take an elastic band, and you're going to use the elastic band to keep everything firmly together. Once you've got one elastic band secured, then it's easier to get the other one on, because you're not having to hold on to, not having to keep everything together with just your fingers. The shorter elastic bands mean that you have to do less twists to get them how you want them. And then you've got your little homemade harmonica. All right. You can adjust the matchsticks to have a shorter length of paper, much like putting your finger on the string of a guitar to shorten the length of the string, and that should produce a different frequency or pitch of sound.
To make sound with those. Your kids will have heaps of fun. Just remember that the lesson's going to get pretty noisy pretty quickly.
And I'm really excited to try this out, Doug.
The next one is our, I call them straw kazoo because of the sound that they make. They don't work on the same principle as kazoo does, but these are really fun. Again, we'll make a very noisy lesson, but the kids love it. And there's lots that you can experiment with these as well. So we'll link in another video to show you some of the other ways that you can extend this, and we'll show you briefly how you can make them. Next up, you might have seen these before. These are just corrugated plastic tubes. You can buy these ones online. They're quite lightweight. They've got a little handle on them. And you can spin them around your head to make sound with. Similar to the bottle, it's creating a standing wave inside the tube, but you can experiment with different lengths of the tube to produce different sounds. And once your students have the knack of that, you could even try to get them to work out what length they need for a particular note. And then if you really want to push them, you can get them to stand in a big circle and try and recreate their own little musical tune using the tubes that they've got. So timing becomes a really... so I'll demonstrate this one.
Sweet. And I'll try this one.
Brilliant, you've got the knack.
Yeah.
These ones, if you're struggling to find the blue one, or you don't want to pay the prices online for it, get yourself down to Bunnings, Mitre 10, any hardware store, and you should be able to buy some corrugated plastic tubing. You want it to be reasonably flexible, and then you should be able to use a craft knife to cut lengths of it. I think we might have paid like by the meter for this stuff or something, but it was really cheap. And then it's easy to cut down to different lengths and to have a play with.
So I'm really excited for this next one.
This one? No.
Oh, not that one. So this is an example of the human ear that we've 3D printed. On this side, we have the pinna of the ear. Over here, we have the auditory canal. And then the thing that separates the auditory canal from the hammer is the eardrum, or the auditory membrane. And then we have the 3 smallest bones in the body, the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup, followed by semicircular canals and our cochlea. The cochlea and the semicircular canals are fluid-filled, structures, are fluid-filled structures, and they help us maintain our balance.
And if you ever play that game where you put your head on a stick and spin around it, and then try to walk in a straight line, what you're doing is the spinning is adjusting the fluid inside these, which then you feel dizzy while that fluid is being displaced until you've had enough time for it to return to normal. What we're doing with this is that we know that sound travels through the air as a wave, and it's normally really hard to visualize that or to see the effect of that. But this is a really fun toy that lets you see the effect of a pressure wave in the air. And so we'll start off with Jay, and you can hopefully feel that. If you might see that Jay's sleeve will move as that pressure wave hits his sleeve. And a nice little one the kids will love is if you set up some paper cups.
The really cool thing I find about this particular activity is it's a real awesome project to get kids hooked into like the mechanics of how we generate waves and sounds and vibrations and sound. And so it's really important that that we have fun with our kids and we do some cool projects like this, so they can start to see how these different mechanics can be applied to some of this real world stuff that we do.